Alright, so Trinidad and Tobago just played Venezuela in their first game of the FIFA Series, and unfortunately the game ended 4-1. Obviously not in our favor, that's why I say unfortunately, right? The game itself started off okay, started off pretty decent. Football is a game of 90 minutes. Trinidad and Tobago had a penalty in the first minute of the game when there was a nice 1-2 play down the right hand side, and Dwayne Mockett got fouled in the penalty. Controversial, but it is for Trinidad, so we're all happy about that. Stepped up Captain Levi Garcia. Unfortunately, he missed the penalty. Yeah, I mean, I know that would kind of dampen the moment, but it wasn't too bad. I was kind of counting the game in 10-minute spells, and first 20 minutes we were doing okay. 30 minutes, 40 minutes, they were starting to come into the game a little bit, but we went at the half 0-0, so that was good. So I'll talk about that, and then I'll also talk about when we saw the lineup, or actually when we saw the selections. The first question most people had was, who are our centre backs? We know that Shiggy plays as a centre back out there in Vietnam, and he's probably the one natural centre back. We know Jaren Jackie plays some positions, one of which is centre back also, but he's been playing more defensive mid. So there were questions about our defense. But again, 0-0 at the half, we were like, okay, cool. And yes, it was a lot more even than what we are accustomed seeing Trinidad and Tobago play in terms of possession. At least, and this is up until the half. That's all I'm talking about right now. We saw Dwayne Mockett look pretty good in the middle. We saw Dante Gilbert, again I'm talking about the first half, because afterwards Dante Gilbert kind of fell off. Rampy was alright, but again I have my reservations about Rampy, but at this stage, but again, okay. Rio Cardines did really well when he played that position, the right back, keeping Darren Payne on the bench actually, so that was pretty good. Noah Powder was doing well. Again, we're talking up until the first half. Clearly, they kind of thought that the football would happen more down on Noah Powder's side. So they were kind of going at him quite a lot, and he was able to handle himself. He was able to hold his own. And there were some questions about Levi Garcia, and I think he played well in the position that he played, which was right wing. For me, Ryan Telfer was a little bit suspect, and if I had to make any changes after the first half, would have probably been take off Ryan Telfer, move Rion Moore across, and bring in Royal Mitchell on top. But that's just my thoughts. Started the second half, again we were playing okay. We started to play a little bit deeper. I guess I don't know what the conversation was like in the dressing room, and we were starting to hold our own a little more. Then we got a ball where Levi Garcia, again going down the wing, change of speed, had his defender beaten, took a shot. The shot was parried out and went straight to Rion Moore, who did what I guess he's there to do, right? A striker, finishing up that goal. So that was, I think, like the 58th or 59th minute, and we're like, all right, cool. We up 1-0, we're looking good. Could be a little bit before that, I can't remember right now actually. Oh, it was before that, because I think in the 60th minute is when they scored their goal. So I think we scored like in the 52nd or something. And then the game started to open up. I was on my way to work actually, and listening to the game in the car, and my wife said, hey, just make sure they don't get swell-headed, because they know how we are. And I don't think it was that being swell-headed, but we definitely changed our shape a little bit and took our foot off the gas in terms of being methodical and playing the ball. And then definitely there was some lapse in concentration. I'm not going to talk about each one of the goals, but the first one, we tried to play the ball out of the back, and this is Jaren Jackie who lost the ball and allowed the opportunity for the goal. And it was a really good goal. That was in the, as I say, the 60th minute. So at 1 hour we were 1-1, and we're like, all right, we could still survive with that. Then it seems like the floodgates open. So we took off Muckett and Dante, so it's kind of questionable as to who would really play the midfield. We took off Telfer came off and Ryan Moore came off, and we started to give some of the younger guys. I saw Toka got to play, so good for him. I saw young Yearwood from Orlando, he got to play also, looked pretty decent for the little time that he got. I think he came on like in the 82nd. And who again, I'm trying to remember. Royal Mitchell obviously didn't really gain much into it. Real Gill got a yellow card, so didn't really have too much more than that. Natty came and he brought a little bit of life to it, but again at that point Venezuela was a little bit rattled, honestly, when we scored first, and they went to their, I guess, best striker, which is Rondon, and he came onto the field, and I mean by that time they actually went up. Did they go up? Yeah, they went up 2-1, and then he came and he kind of solidified the game with a brace. Again, defensive errors. One was one of our defenders played him onside. The other was a ball come across from the wing and nobody touched the ball. I saw somebody actually comment that Shiggy shepherded the ball towards the player so that he could score. So yeah, the errors in the back costed us. Again, I know that there are a lot of players who were unavailable because of, again, where it's happening, and a lot of US players didn't want to go across there. But we need to tighten up that defense. We need to figure out that defense. I think honestly this game was still a good exercise for us, playing a stronger team, but they started with 5 young players, 5 debutants for their side. But I still think it was a decent game. Unfortunately, the result will really show that we got hammered, and coming down to like the last 30 minutes we did get hammered. So we need to figure out that. I like that the football is progressing, and I mean I'm saying that, and it was still a 4-1 result, but we have another game to fight. We have Gabon, who at least with the FIFA rankings is a bit closer to us. Or I should say that Venezuela is ranked at 50th and we are ranked at 97th. So in all regards, based on numbers, they're almost twice as good as us. And I think Gabon is like 80 something. So yeah, we're expecting a better fight and we're expecting a better result. And I know that these 2 games would count towards our FIFA ranking. So even when we were down 2-1, I was like, all right, cool, if we manage it, we'll still get some points. So I'm definitely interested to see where our FIFA rankings would go after these games. 4-1 mightn't really help us, but we still have our next game and we still have our next fight. So let's continue supporting Trinidad and Tobago, and we need to get right because the defense let us down in this game, if I be quite honest. But as always, like, share, comment, subscribe, and you let me know your thoughts in the comments, because as always we'll continue to talk there.